I designed this guitar with David Oddy, thinking that I was building the perfect slide guitar. And you know when someone knows you're being a complete tit, and they give you, they give it, well, Nigel Farage as well. Yeah, I've seen the picture as well. Yeah, and it's very funny as well. In fact, I've helped to circulate it. But hey, there you go. But someone gives you, it's just that little look of withering scorn. You know, you do not know what you were doing. But he built the guitar to my specifications. And I just thought a huge, great wide, because I like wide necks, a big, wide, flat neck would be a great bottleneck thing. And of course, he put it in my hands, still with that look in his eyes, and I ran the bottleneck over it, and of course it doesn't work at all. Because you can't really do bottleneck on a flat neck. You know, you can only do all the strings, you can't play in the way that I play when I play with Chopin's. So there, the guitar sat in the studio, unloved, and unwanted, till I broke a string one day, and I tuned this one down to open G, and suddenly the guitar came to life. It was meant to be in G, this guitar. Because open G is the font of all knowledge, as most of you are guitarists, and probably most of you are better than me anyway, so quite sure. But you cannot do anything, you can't do anything by the Rolling Stones without open G, you know. And that's what most people don't realise. I spent years of my life trying to emulate Keith. Not in his lifestyle, of course, but just trying to play his stuff in standard tuning when all the great riffs, of course, are all in open G. It took years to realise. So it's just turned into a guitar workshop, sorry. And it's like, well, I went, you know, in the early days of the folk clubs around here when all the girls wanted to sing, that's a terrible thing to say, I'm going to rephrase that, but actually, it is true, because Joni Mitchell was a role model for most of the female singers coming to the folk clubs, and they all wanted to sing Joni Mitchell songs. That's absolutely true, so actually I'm not going to retract it at all. But again, none of us ever realised that she plays an open G, and so you're trying to do Big Yellow Taxi and all that kind of stuff, but it just doesn't quite sound right until you go. And so on and so forth. So, there's nothing whatsoever to do with this next song. So that those of you who are really going into it in a very big way will probably have experimented with the open C and the drop C tunings that a lot of people doing, especially British trad stuff, are using these days. And prior to that, in the 70s, we were all playing in something called DAD-GAD, G-A-D. These tunings are absolutely beautiful, but they're also very limiting, basically. So what I do is, if I'm going to play anything in that sort of ilk, I do it in open G and fake it, basically. It's much easier. So if I want to be Raikuda, and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, Raikuda is really good. I'm deeply average. So, same with this song. I also with those open tunings, of course, capo just messes up the tunings anyway so much. So, and I try and avoid capos if I possibly can. So, I fake it in G. So, everything that Nick Jones is a Nick Jones song, by the way. So, everything that Nick does on this has just been pushed across one, because G is a better key for me singing anyway. So, but this is the only piece of copyism I do, and this is Nick Jones's absolutely glorious Warlike Lads of Russia, which is a broadside ballad, and it has this lovely chorus which you can all join in with. The Warlike Lads of Russia, they fought all in one. What? Oh, the Warlike Lads of Russia, they fought all in one line, and made Bonaparte to run and leave his troops behind. And I hold this image. It's a long song, and I forget the words very easily. So I hold this image. My father was an avid collector of Punch magazines in the 50s and the 60s. He still got them all. And one day, at the bottom of a page, there was this glorious cartoon, and it's Napoleon retreating from Moscow on his horse. and his soldiers, what's left of his raggle-taggle army, are trudging along behind him, and 20,000 snowballs are about to hit him on the back of the head. So that's the picture I'm using to keep me in this song. When Bonaparte from Poland into Moscow he went, with all his troops, all his men, their minds are fully bent. But to take the Russian country, they were full employed, while the Russians fought against them and they soon got them destroyed. All like lads of Russia, they fought all in one mind, and made Bonaparte to run and leave his troops behind. Now when from Moscow city, oh, the Russians did retreat, neither Bonaparte nor all his men not anything could get. When from Moscow city, the Russians took their flight, they set the town on fire, they burnt it down that night. All the warlike lads of Russia, they fought all in one mind, they made Bonaparte to run and leave his troops behind. Now when to Moscow city, oh, the Russians did attack against Bonaparte and all his men, they killed them, took them, drove them back. But the action being so hot from right and left and front and rear, oh damn, yes, says old Bonaparte, I'll stay no longer here. Oh, the warlike lads of Russia, they fought all in one mind, and made Bonaparte to run and leave his troops behind. Then went old Bonaparte as fast as he could run, over hedges or ditches he left horses, men and guns, his boxes and his matches, munition wagons too. Well, I left them all behind him, what else could poor Boney do? All the warlike lads of Russia, they fought all in one mind, they made Bonaparte to run and leave his troops behind. Then away then went old Bonaparte as fast as he could ride. The poor Frenchman looked after him, saying, oh, it's very hard, but I think it'll lead us all up here and leave us to our fate. Oh, you ought to stop along with us and help us in our state. Oh, the warlike lads of Russia, they fought all in one mind, and made Bonaparte to run and leave his troops behind. Now here's 80,000 men from me they've killed and they've taken, besides 10,000 horses, fine 200 bits of cannon, and never more to Paris or French Flanders I'll advance, for if I do I may be sure they'll teach me how to dance. Oh, the warlike lads of Russia, they fought all in one mind, they made Bonaparte to run and leave his troops behind. This to conclude, thus to try and finish off this song, old Boney's made the Russians swear they wish they'd all have been, and the cruelest death they put him to, that ever did a man before. Cassius, says old Bonaparte, I'm clear.